Reminder, all of our student affairs webinars for our families are provided on the Pitt Student Affairs YouTube channel, and there's actually a playlist for Pitt Family Webinars, so you can find them all there if you want to go watch some others. But today, let's get right into it. Lynn and Gina are going to tell us all about student leadership opportunities. The chat is closed, but the Q&A is open, and so you can pop your questions into there. I might type you back a response, they might type you back a response, or we might push the question to be answered live towards the end of their presentation. To the both of you, thank you so much for being here, and I'm going to turn the virtual stage over.
All right, thank you everyone for joining us today. We're super excited to be here with you. And as Summer said, we will be discussing student leadership opportunities, both within leadership development and elsewhere on campus today.
All right, so just a little bit about our staff in the Leadership Development Unit. My name is Lynn Miller. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as the Associate Director in Leadership Development. A little bit about my background. I have over 20 years of experience working in higher education, specifically in student affairs. 17 of those are here at Pitt. I call myself a student affairs generalist. I've worked in a variety of capacities, anything from new student programs, fraternity and sorority life, commuter and transfer student programs, actually worked with family programs for a little bit, our student organizations, and now leadership development. I have a master's degree in higher education and student affairs from the Ohio State University, so learned a lot about student development through that program. I'm a native Pittsburgher, moved away for a few years, worked at another institution, but came back home, and Pittsburgh is where I'll be for the foreseen future, maybe forever. I am passionate. So the reason I got into this work is I'm passionate about helping students discover their strengths and really find their niche on campus. As a student myself, I was super involved in specifically fraternity and sorority life and student government, but a few other capacities, and realized through my time as an undergraduate student that this could be a career, helping students get connected to campus, finding themselves in self-discovery. So it's really why I came into the profession. And I'm going to turn it back over to Gina to introduce herself.
So hi, my name is Gina Mall. I am the Assistant Director of Leadership Development. I got my Master of the Arts in Student Affairs at Indiana University of Pennsylvania in 2021. After I actually worked at Carnegie Mellon while I was getting my master's degree in residential education. I then moved away for 2 years, but I love Pittsburgh and had to come back. So I came back 2 years ago and actually again worked in residence life. I came into leadership development into my role this past October. I am originally from Cleveland, but Pittsburgh is where I love to be. So Pittsburgh is definitely home now. I actually got into student affairs due to leadership development opportunities when I was in undergrad. I was a resident assistant on my undergraduate campus. As well as being a tutor and a sustainability coordinator on campus. So I love what we do here. I am very passionate about the arts, and I love helping students become more confident in their skills and really discovering what matters to them, and kind of helping them find their place on campus.
Thanks, Gina. Now we wanted to do a short little activity with you. If you all could, either by scanning the QR code on the screen, or if you go to menti.com and enter the code, if you could enter one word that comes to mind when you think of a leader. And that doesn't have to be a person, it could be an adjective, it could be an action word. But if you could go ahead and do that now, we'll give everybody a few moments to grab your phones, or go ahead and go to the website. And as people are entering words, you'll see them populating there on the screen. And we'll just give one more moment for that. So I'm seeing some great words: strong, risk taker, fairness, initiative, selfless, trustworthy, adaptable, compassion. There's some great words coming in. Thank you for everybody who's participating. So this is an example of an activity that we might do with our students sometimes, maybe during a conference or one of our leadership development programs or workshops. And we like to talk to them about what a leader is, to kind of define that and set the tone for our trainings. And I think Jean and I, if we were asked to fill this out, we would include words like growth, self-discovery, service to others, empowerment, and integrity. Which leads us to me talking about what our leadership philosophy is and how we kind of see leadership through the scope at Pitt. We really truly believe that leadership is a transformative experience. It doesn't happen overnight. Your student may have served in leadership capacities during their high school years, and they can continue to grow and develop in that leadership and self-discovery. Think of it like as a caterpillar, right? Doesn't become a butterfly overnight, but there's this transformation process. I would liken that to leadership development, right? There's a transformative experience that a student walks through. We also believe that leadership is socially constructed. So it holds different meanings for different peoples, different cultures, even where people live regionally can make an impact in people's personal life experiences, can make an impact on what leadership means to them. Also, we see leadership in two different types of definitions. So leadership as a noun versus leadership as a verb. A lot of folks will think of leadership as positional leadership. So like the CEO of a company, the president or treasurer of a student organization, something that is tied to a title. Another definition of leadership focuses more on relationships and the process of leadership. And that would be the verb. There's a typo there. It says noun on the screen that should say verb on that bottom bullet point. We really concentrate on the verb definition of leadership. We recognize that students can show leadership in many different capacities. They don't have to be in a positional leadership position. So your students don't have to be the president of an organization to participate in any of our programs. We're really focusing on that verb and students building relationships and how they can show leadership in different ways, whether it's maybe serving on a committee or advocating for something or standing up for something that they believe in.
So talking a little bit about what leadership development is at Pitt, we are part of the Department of Student Involvement, and you can see our purpose statement here. So I'll go ahead and read this out for everyone. Leadership development provides meaningful opportunities that foster personal growth and leadership potential. As a result of engaging in our office, students will be empowered to grow and develop as confident, capable leaders in their communities and future careers. So this is what everything that we do surrounds. As you can see in the purpose, you can see our principles. We really try to embody these things. The idea of creating community, we really value and try to help students come into their own with this idea of empowerment, as well as being able to empower others. We're very committed to growth of our students on campus. We care deeply about integrity as well as self-discovery. So students can expect to see that across all of the events and programs that we do within leadership development. And then our actions, I would say this means that all of the things that we provide and serve on campus fall within these categories. We keep a lot of our events focus on development and helping students to learn and grow. We help students to connect across campus. We do also advise different students on our campus, and I'll dive into that a little bit on the next slide, as well as celebrating. So we also have the opportunity in leadership development. We have 2 different awards that we serve as the administrators and chairs of on campus, as well as being part of what we call the Forge Gala at the end of every year, where student organizations celebrate all of their achievements throughout the year. So talking a little bit about the programs that we have on campus, specifically, I'm going to start with talking about what your first year students can participate in within our leadership development unit. The first of which is Panther Leadership Academy. I am our coordinator for Panther Leadership Academy, and this is a 20-week program that's divided over the course of 2 semesters, so 10 weeks per semester. And this is an experience that helps students start to learn a little bit about themselves, then start to grow in their relationships with others, in a leadership context, and then starting to learn more about what they can do in their communities to be strong leaders. The registration for Panther Leadership Academy does open on August 15th. So if you have students that you think might be interested, highly recommend that they log on to Experience Pitt and find registration starting August 15th to get registered for that. Panther Leadership Summit is a really great opportunity that is a 1-day conference in February. So that is a great opportunity for students to interact with other student leaders on campus, to meet student leaders all the way from undergraduate to graduate level, and really start to dive into what they care about and what they want to grow in. The other opportunity that first year students can get involved with is National Society of Leadership and Success. We refer to this as NSLS. There is a GPA requirement of a 3.0, so that means that first year students would be able to register for this starting their second semester, so spring semester, so that they have that established GPA to qualify to participate in that. NSLS is entirely online, which is a really great opportunity for students to have some leadership development opportunities at their own pace. Talking a little bit about other leadership development programs that we have within our unit that students might consider past their first year. There is a student organization called Omicron Delta Kappa, and this is actually part of a national organization where students can get connected all across the nation with other leaders. This actually expands beyond the university setting, and alumni who were previously a part of ODK can still get involved with events and networking opportunities. So that is a really great opportunity for our students to begin to network even beyond the Pittsburgh community to really find their communities and make big changes. The ACC Leadership Symposium is another opportunity that happens every February, and that is a 1-weekend symposium or conference that we take up to 5 students to every year. So students actually apply for this during the fall semester, and then applicants will be selected for interviews, and then we select our 5 delegates that get to go to this conference. And when they return to campus, we have really intentional conversations about what they took away from that experience and how they want to implement that knowledge on our campus. The last opportunity that I'll mention is called Lead and Read. This is a more advanced leadership development opportunity for students that have participated in at least one leadership development program already. So we pick one book that we read throughout the academic year. And as we read the book, we talk about how that knowledge can be implemented in their own leadership experiences on campus, and they develop action steps for how they can continue to improve as leaders on campus.
Our unit is not the end-all be-all for leadership development on campus. We do welcome students from all over campus. It doesn't matter the major or what school they're affiliated with or what year. But again, there are other opportunities for leadership development on campus. Many of our academic schools actually provide leadership certificates or other leadership initiatives. So if your student is interested in getting involved through their school, I would encourage them, or seeing what's available to them through their school, I would encourage them to reach out to their academic advisor or a staff member at their school to find out what those certificate programs or initiatives may be. Within student affairs, we also have our student organization resource center. So if your student is interested in joining student organizations and perhaps showing their leadership in that way, we do have over 800 student organizations here at Pitt. So if they can't find their niche in one of those 800 plus, there is opportunity still to develop new student organizations, and I would encourage them to work with the source staff if that's something they're interested in doing as well. In addition to student organizations, several of our departments in student affairs offer different types of peer positions. Within leadership development ourselves, we did not mention, but once a student completes our Panther Leadership Academy, they have the opportunity to apply to become a peer facilitator and help facilitate those sessions for other students. Some of our other departments, such as new student programs or student health, also offer peer positions that they could apply for. How does your student get connected to these opportunities and how do they learn about it? Well, there is an involvement fair on August 24th, which is the day before classes start. It's also the last day of welcome week, and it'll be up at the Peterson Event Center. Your students will know about it because there are a lot of the RAs will actually take their students up to it, but there will be many of our undergraduate student organizations represented there, as well as some departments from campus that will have tables to talk to students about opportunities for involvement in leadership. We will also be there with a table. Future thinking, so not something they can necessarily get involved with right away, but if they're having a really great residential experience and are interested in becoming an RA, that's a wonderful leadership opportunity on campus. The process for applying for that will happen in the spring. Also, if they're interested in getting involved more on the academic side, there are opportunities for them to apply to become undergraduate teaching assistants or really get involved in research. And for either of those opportunities, they should connect with faculty members or staff in their schools. One other opportunity I just thought of that's not on this slide is there's lots of employment opportunities, student employment opportunities on campus that some opportunities may be beyond the typical receptionist or clerical work. So students may have opportunities to experience leadership development through student employment as well. Just some resources that we used. We didn't necessarily create the philosophies that you heard me speak about earlier. So I wanted to make sure that we're acknowledging the folks that did the deep research and in developing a lot of those theories. So wanted to share those resources for you. But now we will open the floor to questions.
Thank you both so much. The Q&A is open. So if you have any questions, you pop them into there. We'll be able to see them and Lynn and Gina can answer. Not a question, but Celeste says thank you for this informative session. That was so
Absolutely.
nice. Could you expand, where do students find out about employment opportunities? And then there is a follow-up question, sort of, do you recommend getting a campus job their first year? And so we could answer those together.
Just look,
So-
oh, go ahead, Gina.
So talking a little bit about student employment opportunities, students can, some opportunities are advertised in different spaces on campus. The Student Affairs newsletter is a place where some students find jobs that are specifically within the Division of Student Affairs. But students can look online, because all of the applications for student employment go through our HR website. Lynn, I don't know if you have more that you want to say on that question.
There will be a student employment fair early in September. I don't know, I don't have the specific date for that in front of me. But if your student's on the lookout, that'll definitely be advertised through the Student Affairs newsletter and other capacities. Do we recommend getting a campus job their first year? I mean, it's really up to the student and what they feel like their capacity is, right? Obviously, academics come first, but getting a campus job can get them connected to staff or faculty on campus and can help expand their network. So I think it's really up to each individual student and what they feel they can do on campus, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it can be really situational. Some students really want to focus on their academics, fully support that. I personally had 3 jobs my first year of college because I saw a lot of opportunity to actually connect with my peers through jobs rather than student organizations at my undergrad institution. So that was really great for me, especially because I had a lot of free time on the weekends that those jobs made it easy to kind of be able to balance my academics during the week and then my jobs on the weekend. So I would say it really is situational. While I think monetarily it can be really great to have a job, just making sure that your student is really thinking about what's a healthy balance for them and where do they need to focus their energy on, and if they really have the time for both. And they might make good friends that way, like I did. And then this next question, is there a link online with more info about the Read and Lead program? So right now we don't actually have that opportunity listed online. That is an opportunity that we are just piloting this upcoming academic year. We got some feedback from students that have done other programs with leadership development, asking what the next step is. Like, hey, we've done all of these things with you all. What else can we do? So this is something that was suggested by one of the students that we interact with. So we're trying it out this year. I just reached out to a big list of all of the students that have previously completed a leadership development opportunity with us. So that basically was a smaller operation to see who would be interested in that opportunity. But if it goes so well this year, then I'm hoping to get that up on our Experience Pitt page.
I'm reading the next question. So student employment would be your student, if they would get a job on campus, they would receive payment, usually direct deposit into a banking account. So I don't know that that could necessarily offset tuition, but it could definitely, I would say most students probably use it to provide for personal expenses. Tina, I don't know if you have any more information about that. Our office doesn't oversee student employment, so I don't necessarily have all the answers to that question.
I do know some other institutions do have an option. I'm not sure about Pitt specifically though. But sometimes institutions have the opportunity for students to decide whether they would like for the money that they make to be applied to their tuition or if they would like it to go to their bank account. But you would want to talk to student employment about that.
That would also be a great question for the Student Payment Center,
Oh,
which is
yes.
where you'll
Yes, ma'am.
process your payment, your tuition payments. And student work study can also be a component of financial aid packages, but those are individualized to each student, the number of hours they're able to work in with work study. And so that is a very individual amount, and not everyone gets work study, but student employment is open to anyone.
Mhm. And then the other thing that I'll mention, because I know we listed resident assistants as kind of a future opportunity, I will say resident assistants aren't actually considered a student employment on campus. That is categorized differently. So students would not be paid the same way as an RA as other student employee positions on campus. Um, Let's see here. Are these only need-based opportunities or can anyone apply? Lynn?
So if you're speaking about our leadership development programs that run out of our office, anybody can participate. I think the only National Society of Leadership and Success, that, as we mentioned, was a GPA requirement. There is a membership fee for that. It's part of a national program. But there are opportunities if there are students who have need financial assistance for us to potentially assist them with that. So anything else there may be, I'm not sure what other programs you might be referring to for as need-based, but our programs certainly are open to students.
Are there any healthcare clubs that you would recommend? So all of our student organizations aren't necessarily associated with leadership development, but they are associated with the Student Organization Resource Center. I would say personally, I don't know a lot about the healthcare student organizations on campus, but students can actually search by category through the Experience Pitt website to see all of the organizations that might fall within healthcare. I think all of them are really wonderful. All of the students from these organizations that we've gotten to interact with all seem really great and do really wonderful events and programs both on and off campus.
And there's a broad range of healthcare clubs depending on what your student's particular interest is.
And then, are you able to be an RA sophomore year? I'm no longer employed by Residence Life, so not to speak on behalf of them, but yes, the application typically goes live. I'm not going to say it's absolutely going to go live in December, but that is typically when it goes live. Students would be applying in December and January. Then they do the interview the interview process in the spring semester to then hire for the upcoming fall semester. So first year students can apply, but would not be in the RA position until their sophomore year.
Any other questions? All right, let me find my PowerPoint screen again so I can advance the slide. There you go.
So that is everything that we have here today for you all. This slide shows all of the different ways that we can be connected with. We are housed in William Pitt Union. Our office is 426 William Pitt Union. We are in office Mondays through Thursdays once the semester begins, and we are open from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. We both work remote on Fridays, so we would need to be contacted via email in order to help out on Fridays in particular. We do have an Instagram, which was just started this past year. So if you would like to see more of the opportunities that we have upcoming, feel free to scan that QR code and give us a follow. We are at Pitt Leads on Instagram. Right now, we're posting a lot on our story of previous Panther Leadership Academy participants who felt like they had an impactful experience. So kind of a cool thing to see. But with that, that is everything that we have for everyone. We can stick around for a few minutes if anyone has other questions they want to type in the chat. But thank you all so much.
Thank you both so much. A reminder that the recording will be up on Pitt Student Affairs YouTube channel in just a few days.
Lynn, we're getting a bunch of new followers. I'm getting notifications.
That's so fun. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.